And today, we're going to do a pack dump for an archery moose hunt that's going to take place up in Newfoundland, Canada. Yeah, it's a couple months early, but I always do this to make sure that I have everything I need. And if I don't, I have time to shop for it. I have time to look for it. I have time to find out exactly the item, the brand, the model, everything I'm looking for. Sometimes it's on back order. So, anyway, I'm going to open up my pack. I'm going to show you what I got. And the big part about it is I'm going to be on a float plane. And that float plane has a limit of 50 pounds of gear, not including your weapon, that you can take with you. So what I do is I start off with a full bag. Here's my scale. Okay. And being that this is going to be all the gear, there is one kind of loophole, meaning the clothes that you wear on the plane don't count. All right, that's 25.5 pounds. Okay? And my second bag, which is my carry-on, and important part about the carry-on is, guys, is, all right, I got 18.2 on that one. So clearly 25.5 and 18.2 is under 50 pounds. So I'm good to go. What I wear on the plane doesn't count. So the loophole is I can wear some heavy gear on the plane. I'm going to wear my heaviest boots, and I'm going to wear a jacket. I'm going to wear my binoculars. So those aren't weights that I have to worry about as part of my 50 pounds. The bag itself is. So I make sure I use, this is a Sitka duffel, and it's basically waterproof. It's got a tub on the bottom. You can kind of see that. So when they throw it in the mud on you, you're not going to get your gear wet. We'll talk about some of those gear wet things later. But these are my two bags. And here's my bow case. And, you know, I'll take 2 bows with me in this bow case. And it really keeps everything safe. It's got TSA locks on it. And I'll do a little bit on this later. But essentially, these are the 3 things I'm taking with me. And then a couple things on my body. I have a specialty table over there. I have a couple of items I may or may not take. But again, I'll get into the pack dump and we'll show you what's going on. All right, getting right into this pack dump. I'll give you all my gear, what I bring with me, and we'll take a look at it. Open up, this is the 25-pound bag. And I have to say, not all the things you see in here will be exactly in this bag. I might distribute them, evenly between the 2 bags, because when you take these planes up to different places, if you lose your gear, you could be in a freezing cold place without rain gear, without necessities. So what I try to do is I try to use the smaller bag as a carry-on, and I'll put 1 or 2 days worth of hunting gear, clothing, socks, underwear, things like that I need in a smaller bag, just in case my bigger bag doesn't get there for a day or 2. Sometimes not at all. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of that with Canadian flights, but again, so everything I pull out of here may be redistributed, but it's going to be the same gear. All right, coming out. This is my day pack. So where I'm going is a guided hunt. And in a guided hunt, I don't necessarily need to pack meat out. So I'm not going to bring my biggest backpack and pack meat out in. I need something that I'm going to be going to and from a guide cabin. Or there's an option for me to backpack out 15 miles, sleep in a trapper's cabin, and then come back the next day. So all I'm going to really need is something small enough that I can take my lighter rain gear with, some food for the day, and I have a water bladder in here. I believe it's a 2-liter water bladder. So this is, again, my day pack. Gotta have it. Okay? Next thing that I can see here are my socks. Guys, I bring darn tough socks from light to heavy. And then, finally, a big pair of wool socks. So my feet are likely going to get wet. And the only thing that's going to really keep your feet warm is wool. So the darn tough are a merino wool base. And then I got the big heavy ones that if it drops below 20 degrees and I got to stay warm, that's what it's going to be. So 5 days of hunt, 5 pairs of socks. All right, just game bags. I always bring game bags with me. I'm sure they're going to have their game bags, but I'll bring these with me just so I can preserve my own meat. I'm looking at 500 pounds of moose meat. I'm responsible for it. Even though they say they're the guide, and it looks great, but I have to tell you, I'm going to make sure I take care of my own meat. All right. Gators. Guys, one of the most important things you're going to bring with you on a hunt like this. I'm going to be sloshing through some wet bogs, going through, streams, things like that. I have a pair of boots on. Sorry. They're my Mendels. They're waterproof. And with a pair of gaiters like this, I could scoot through water that's slightly above the boot and not get wet. Although I imagine my feet are going to get wet anyway. Tough pair of gaiters, you got to have. We're going to talk a lot about rain gear, but this is my simple Sitka dew point. I've tested this out for a while now, and it's been great. I don't know if you can see my head or hear me. It's pretty loud for me. So I have no qualms about bringing this lighter weight rain gear with me. I can tell you on the extra special table over here, extras I may or may not bring. I'll show you some more rain gear, but I'm definitely bringing my dew point, and I expect to wear this every day. And it doesn't absorb the water, so you can shake the water off of it, so the next morning you have dry rain gear. All right, continuing into the pack. Camp Crocs. Walking in a pair of boots all day, when you get back, you want to let your feet breathe a little bit. They might be swollen, you might have some blisters. This is a different type of hunt. It's not like elk hunting where you're talking about dry hiking. This is going to be wet. So keeping my feet dry and or blister free is going to be a challenge. And I've heard that you don't often win that challenge, but this is going to keep my feet relaxed for the evening when I'm back at camp. Okay, continuing on. I've got underwear. This is what I wear, guys. These are a Sitka merino wool boxer. These are brand new, and I bring 5 pairs of these, and they're long enough that you don't chafe your groin. Super comfortable, and they're warm. Often I don't need a pair of long johns underneath what I'll show you, my mountain pants, because of these. Super comfortable. I bring 5 pairs of them. If it's longer than a 5-day hunt, I'll wash them in sink. I'll wash them in the river, and they'll dry out. But highly recommend these boxers. Since I mentioned it, I'm going to go into the mountain pant. I bring 3 pairs of pants, and 2 of them are mountain pants. These are just a regular color, and this is what I wear on the plane. So I don't actually count this as part of my 50 pounds. So you get away with, these are, I don't know, a pound or so, not having to count it as part of your gear. And they're pretty tough. So here's my second pair of mountain pants in the subalpine. So I looked at the colors on some of the videos on the camp that I'm going to, and I'll get into that on which camp in a minute. And these colors match well. So the subalpine, again, mountain pant, is going to be what I'm wearing. There's another pant here that I highly recommend. And it's kind of like a mountain pant on steroids. So this is my 3rd pair of pants. I bring 3 pairs of pants on a 5 to 8 day hunt. This is a Timberline pant, okay? And it's like the mountain pant, except it has a waterproof butt, if you see that. That waterproof butt and waterproof knees allows me to sit quickly, relax a little bit, or if I'm, crawling through something and my knees are going to get wet, this is going to keep my knees dry. Really great pair of pants, and it's got a suspender on it, so either you eat too much or you can't button your pants because you tuck your jacket in, things like that. Highly recommend. So there's my 3 pairs of pants. 1, 2, 3. I have them over a chair over here. You know what you saw. I talked about a liner. I talked about long johns. I bring 2 sets of long johns. One super light. These are a Sitka lightweight core long john, bottom and top. And then I have a real heavyweight. I don't know if you can see that textured material there. Super heavyweight. So I have the lightweight and the heavyweight. Almost the exact same things. Again, if I'm walking and it's 40 degrees, I might not even put a liner on. If it's 30, I'll use the lightweight. Let's say it's 10 degrees. I'm going to be up there October 2nd to October 12th. And the temperature is going to range 20s to 60s. You never know what you're going to get. And if you hang around long enough, you're going to get all 4 seasons in a day. And there's a 42% chance of rain every single day. So getting wet, staying warm, and, especially with a bow hunt, I got to be ready. I can't be uncomfortable. So putting these over here real quick. These are my top and bottom long johns, as you said. Okay? Continuing through my bag here, I'm going to show you my tops. I always bring, here's a long sleeve t-shirt, okay? It's warm, and it's the same color, so I can strip down in layers. I've got t-shirts, and I have layers over the top of that, but it's all the same color. So I'm not worried about camo. I'm not worried about what's happening. Moose don't have the best eyes, but, you know, it makes me feel good. I have the camo. Okay, underneath that shirt, and especially when I'm walking long distances, short sleeve tees. I usually bring one per day. I'm not going to have the opportunity to shower much. I believe there is an outdoor shower and things like that, but I bring one per day because that's where you sweat the most, on your underlayers. So I'll bring up to 5 of these t-shirts. When I elk hunt, absolutely, I bring 5 of these. I bring one per day. And if it's longer than that, I bring more. The warmth on top of that, okay, here is a Kelvin active jacket from Sitka again. This thing's super light. Bundles up into a little tiny ball. I'm good with this down to like 30 degrees on top of those t-shirts and that underlayment. Okay. Continuing on, here's a puff jacket. Okay. This is a down jacket. It gets real cold. I could put this on top of that jacket. I got a hood on it. If it's blowing wind, I'm good with this down to probably 0. And it actually fits underneath my rain gear. So being able to have this is just a home run. Super comfortable, super light. So again, everything in this whole bag is 25 pounds. My vest. So if I'm trekking hard and I want to know what I'm going to be wearing, this vest takes the chill out of your chest, but allows your pits to be open and your arms to be free. So I really like the vests. I use them mid-range of temperatures and when I'm moving. Pretty hard to move in a puff jacket with down. You'll sweat real quickly. This vest will keep you warm, and at the same time, you're not going to have to, worry about the bulk. All right. Here comes gloves, hats, things like that. Hats. Okay. Here's hats. I have a heavy beam. I have a baseball cap. And somewhere in here, not much left here, is a light beam. There you go. So I'll wear this under the baseball cap. When it gets too cold, I'll wear this here. And then I have a balaclava. It gets real cold. And then I have the super heavyweight windproof hat. So I'm actually bringing 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 different hats of that kind. And then, hats here. This is a waterproof hat. There's nothing like being in rain gear and having water get sucked up into the brim of your hat and then your head's wet. This is a waterproof hat. And this keeps your head dry and stops the water from sucking up the brim. Super important. Here's another mid-layer that I like to wear. It's the same as the long johns, but it's the same color as my hunting gear if I need to wear that. Gloves. Guys, these are waterproof gloves. I can stick my hand underwater. The liners come out, the liners are drying, and I can take a thin pair of glove liners and use them as the liner inside these. I don't think I'll be using them in this hunt. I can't shoot my bow with them, but if things get real bad, down near 0 or I'm in the snow, I want one pair of gloves. I don't have to worry about my hands getting wet. Here's a light pair of gloves. Then in the subalpine, I can shoot my bow with these. These are a home run. I believe they're a traverse glove. And again, I can shoot with them. I can wear them. Even if they get a little wet, they still keep your hands, kind of warm. Last thing in here is my pack cover. This is a waterproof pack cover. So my little backpack here, if it's pouring rain, that gets soaking wet. Now all of a sudden, something that weighs 2 pounds weighs 15 pounds. So this waterproof pack cover goes over the top of this, and I could use this waterproof pack cover to cover anything I need here, just to keep it dry. All right. There goes bag number 1. All right, let's get into bag number 2 here, guys. Now, this is I think it's a 50-liter bag. It's my daughter's little, name tag. She took this all over Europe this year. So when everyone's dragging those bags across the cobblestones, she used this little bag, put it on her back, and said, she was the best prepared of all of her friends. She, again, studied abroad in Italy, and this was waterproof, so when it rained on her, it didn't affect it. In and out of the train station, so even beside for hunting, this is like a really cool travel bag. So, speak of travel, this zipper here, this is where I keep all my paperwork. My licensing, pens, zip ties, anything I need to do with that. Here's all my paperwork for the hunt. I don't know if you can see that there. That's a list of all these items. I keep that with me so I know what I have. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police want to know about my weapons. So I have to have all these documents and paperwork. Where I'm going. Okay? Off-Grid Adventures Incorporated. Off the grid, I should say. This is the camp I'm going to. Again, I'm going to be in a cabin, but it's a float plane flying in. Really cool. You should check them out. I'll give you the information on this too. So, again, all my paperwork, everything I need goes in the top of this bag, and this one goes with me on the plane. If you have any medications, obviously keep it in this bag so it can't get lost. And again, I'll show you what I have in this. Most likely some of this other stuff would be too, but much less than 25 pounds. My binoculars here, I keep them on my chest. They don't count as weight. These are field washcloths. Basically, so you can wipe yourself down if you don't have the ability to take a shower, things like that. I always carry them with me. This here, these are all my personal items. This is my toiletries, everything I need. I just carry this one pack with me. I make sure it's red, so if I need anything as far as, a color, I always use a red one. Here's more game bags. I know I showed you the smaller ones. This is a Magnum pack, because we're talking about moose here. I'm probably going to need both of them. Some of the other important things, rangefinder. I carry this with me on the plane too. If I don't have my, if I end up with my bow, and I have just this pack, I need the rangefinder. I bring a medical kit, guys. I'm with a guide. He should have all of this, but I'm going to be in another country. I get hurt, I get cut, I need to be able to take care of myself. I don't mess around with that. I always bring a medical kit with me. And this is it's for 2 people for 4 days. So I got 4 guys come with me. I basically handle it all. Drinking. I'm going to be up in the middle of Canada. I imagine the streams are going to be clean. But majority of other things that are problems that are going to cause you intestinal issues, it's what's called a life straw. I can actually take this, put it in the river, and drink out of it. Or fill this up and drink through it, and know I'm not going to have those problems with bacteria or, viruses or whatever other things you can come down with. I also bring the tablets. It's a portable aqua germicidal water purification tablets. I can put it in there. If this breaks, I don't want to not be able to have water. So they don't always, taste the best. They should not have a taste to them, but I can tell. But I bring them with me. Really important. Another big pack cover, little teeny thing, can go over everything here and keep it dry. Going through, here's my pillow. I have a little Thermarest pillow. This opens up, and I can use it, nothing like laying, in a hard cot without a pillow for 5 to 8 days. Now, these here are called dry sacks. And I highly recommend you get a bunch of these. They're super cheap, and they're waterproof. So what I'll do, even before I put all this in this big bag, it's technically waterproof, or it's more water resistant, but I put all of this stuff in it. So if the ceiling leaks in the guide cabin that I'm in, my stuff doesn't get wet. They're super cheap. They don't weigh anything. Here's an 8-liter all the way up to a pack liner, which is 70-liter. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I make sure all my stuff are in these Ultrasil dry sacks. One of the most important things you have here, guys. I keep talking about getting wet. Make sure you have it. And then I have my little gear pack here. Inside this, okay, and I put it in a Ziploc so it's all in one place. You have to look and make sure some of this can't go on the plane with you, although it's in my carry-on. I carry a couple of Bic lighters with me. You can bring rain-proof matches all you want. Ain't nothing like a Bic lighter to light that fire. I have an outdoor edge, which has got replaceable blades, and it's got a little saw in it. I know they're going to have knives and things like that, but I got to be honest with you, almost everywhere I've been, I feel more comfortable parting out the animal than some of the guides do. They do it all day long, but I don't know. I'm more cautious of getting dirt in it and doing all the different things that I like to do with the meat that I'm taking home. Headlamps. I have extra headlamps. This is a brand new one with batteries. It's an RGB 2 headlamp. Really good one. you're going to need them. I bring my thermocell. It's going to be October. It's a 60-something degree day. I'm going to get covered with bugs in the middle of Canada. That is not fun. So I bring a thermocell. Again, this may have to go in the main pack because they're not going to let you bring butane on a plane in your carry-on. Garmin InReach. Guys, if you don't have one, you better get it. You spend all this money on all this gear and you don't take care of your life. There's also kind of insurance policies where you can come get picked up by a helicopter. You can do all kinds of different things, but the bottom line is being able to text with satellite with a Garmin InReach. It's beyond valuable. You owe it to your family. I carry a watch, even though I have a phone. You know, your battery dies, watches tend to last a lot longer. I carry an extra knife that's got a gut hook. I love my gut hook knives. And then your standard blade. So that's 2 knives I carry with me. And then, you know, I always have a third. This is the one I carry in my pocket. It's a little Benchmade. I just like that knife. In here again, I have rubber gloves. I have pens. I have zip ties. And some little paper towels and stuff like that you can use as toilet paper or to dry blood if you get cut. That's pretty important. All right. So, again, that's pack number 2. Guys, here's my bow case. It's an SKB bow case, and I carry 2 bows in it. Here's my Hoyt RX9 2025 bow. That's what I'm going to be hunting with. And here's actually the quiver and the sight. If you notice, it already has a sight on it. I'll pop this off and put this sight. If something happens, I have 2 sights for the same bow. Whenever you fall, I like to know that I have another sight that's set up. Okay? So, I'm using about a 500 grain FMJ arrow with a V2 striker to G5 V2 striker broadhead at 100 grains. This is my second bow, which is my backup bow. Another Hoyt. It's a 2016 Defiant. It's my go-to bow. I absolutely love this bow, and I keep it as a backup so that something happens to that bow, I have a full second bow. I don't want to be, you know, I'm going to land in Canada. I'm going to take a ferry over to Newfoundland, and then I'm taking another car or truck 5 hours, and then I'm getting in a float plane. So I'm not getting back to a bow shop. So I need to know I have 2 bows that are fully capable of taking down a moose, all set up, ready to go. You know, I'm not getting any help except for what I have for myself. My broadhead box, I keep all my broadheads in here. I have extra releases. I have extra Allen keys. Usually I keep 2 sets of them. And then I have an arrow tube. I keep, you know, a dozen arrows in this arrow tube so that if this gets dropped, it gets opened up. If the TSA opens it up and screws up, you know, the way my arrows are, a lot of times they'll shut that case, and, you know, you don't know if they're bending your arrows or not. Super important. And in this thing, you see this foam? I put 1 bow underneath, 1 bow on top. I pack it nice and neat, and I can lock it, and TSA can open it so they're not going to cut your locks and things like that. I've traveled with this case more than 10 times all around the country. Never had an issue. I absolutely love it. And if you can see, excuse me, on this corner here, it's all cracked and broken. So they throw this case around when you're on the plane. I've seen it going into Colorado. I think I was landing in Cortez. There's 20 guys getting off the planes that have bows. They're literally taking bow cases and they're stacking them up 6 or 7 high. I don't want mine to be the one that gets crushed on the bottom. So I go for the strongest one, and even though it can crack the plastic edges, never had an issue, super solid. I would buy this case 10 times over. Guys, I told you I'd have another little specialty table here. A lot of the guides up in Canada can walk, and in Alaska, they can walk in these boots, in the rubber boots. Again, I go to work every day. My feet aren't built to walk in these things, and I don't have calluses, so I don't know if I can walk in these boots or not. Sitka makes a new pair, and just solid rubber boots, like, you know, sometimes hip boots they tell you to bring. But how are you going to walk 5 to 10 to 15 miles in hip boots? I don't think I can do it. So I'm probably going to bring these if weight allows, but again, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to be using them or not. I was also told to bring These are Sims lightweight waders with the footy bottoms. And these are basically boots that you can walk in rivers and things like that. So I'm guaranteed to stay dry, but I could imagine that you're going to get all swamped up inside of that. But if weight allows again, and I'm under the 50 pounds, I'm going to bring it with me. And I'm going to walk with them here. I'm going to try it all out here. I've used them in the past, but I can't say I've hunted in waders like this. But again, I've seen guys on TV shows up in Alaska using them, especially when they're caribou hunting, and it's just, permafrost melting into bog. There's holes you step in, you go up to your waist. Depends on how bad it is. So at worst, if my other feet get wet, my gear starts getting wet, I could put these on and I could still hunt. So it's all weight dependent. Also, I'm not going to wear white in them, but these are rubber and I guess polypropylene rain gear. This is the stuff that they often tell you in Alaska, don't wear breathable rain gear, and they kind of rank on Kuyu and Sitka and First Light. They say that's not good enough. You've got to have this rubber stuff. Where I'm going, I might need it. So I'm going to look at my weight distribution again, and if I could bring these two sets of waterproof gear, I'm going to bring it with me. I also have another set of like packable waterproof stuff. I have my GoPro that I'll bring with me, and in here are walking sticks. So this is just some extra gear that I'm typically not bringing with me on a hunt, but because of the wetness and it's 40% chance of rain every single day, I'm gonna bring it if I can. This behind me, this is a sleeping bag by Chill Crew, I believe it is. This is a down sleeping bag. It's Stone Glacier is where you get it. Sorry if I'm too far out of the way here, guys. Weighs almost nothing. I think it's 2 pounds total, and it's a 0-degree bag. Okay. The big thing about sleeping bags like this is when they're down and they get wet, they're useless. This one is basically waterproof. I could submerge this in a pool, pull it back out, and it's going to look like this. It was expensive. I don't remember exactly what it was, but Stone Glacier is really good. And I'm bringing this with me. I'm going to be in a guide cabin. They recommended that, we bring good sleeping bags. I don't mess around. And this 2-pound big sleeping bag's going to pack up into this. And I can also get a compression sack for it. But overall, and I don't have it in the sack right now because with a bag like this, you're supposed to let it breathe and stay open, not be, compressed all the time. You'll destroy the feathers and any of the synthetic material that's in it. That's why I'm leaving it open right now. I'll pack it right before I go. When I get there, I'll open it up. So, guys, this was my my pack dump and all my gear I'm going to be taking with me on an archery moose hunt. I hope I'll have some other videos with you, with the bow and what I do when I'm up there. But if you have any questions, hit me up. That whole like and subscribe thing, yeah, good luck with that. And that's pretty much it for the day. It's starting to rain, so all my gear's getting wet right now. Catch up to you soon.